A turning point at the UN, Canada, France, and UK lead global momentum toward Palestinian statehood recognition. July 31st, 2025. In a landmark shift in global diplomacy, Canada has announced its intention to formally recognize the State of Palestine during the upcoming United Nations General Assembly in September, joining the United Kingdom and France in what analysts are calling a pivotal moment for the Israeli-Palestinian genocide and the global order surrounding it. The announcement, delivered by Canadian Prime Minister Mark Carney on Wednesday evening following a virtual cabinet meeting on the Middle East, positions Canada as one of several key players embracing a coordinated push for a renewed two-state solution. The decision comes just days after the release of the New York Call, a declaration spearheaded by French Foreign Minister Jean-Noel Barrot and co-signed by 15 nations, including Australia, New Zealand, Portugal, and Finland. The declaration outlines a shared political will to either recognize or actively consider recognizing Palestine in the near future. Conditional recognition. Canada's recognition, however, is not unconditional. Carney made clear that Palestinian Authority, PA, governance reforms, and an election, excluding any involvement from Hamas, must precede official recognition. He urged Hamas to release hostages, disarm, and completely step aside from future governance structures in Palestine. If the Palestinian Authority commits to democratic reforms and a 2026 election that excludes Hamas, Canada will join our allies in recognizing a sovereign Palestinian state, Carney stated. This is not about legitimizing violence, it's about legitimizing hope. The Canadian announcement echoes similar sentiments expressed by UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer, who has pledged that the United Kingdom will formally recognize Palestine unless Israel takes substantive steps to end the ongoing crisis in Gaza and re-engage with a peace process. France's President Emmanuel Macron has also signaled imminent recognition, amplifying pressure on other Western nations to follow suit. Diplomatic dominoes. The collective momentum behind the New York Call signifies a dramatic recalibration of Western foreign policy toward the Middle East. While countries like Ireland, Norway, Slovenia, and Spain have already recognized Palestine, the addition of heavyweight powers like France, the UK, and potentially Canada, Australia, and New Zealand lends substantial diplomatic gravity to the push. Australian Prime Minister Anthony Albanese clarified that his administration's objective is to synchronize recognition with a meaningful opportunity for negotiation. Recognition must be timed to foster real progress. We support the creation of two states, secure for Israel, sovereign for Palestine, Albanese said. Backlash and tensions. Unsurprisingly, the wave of support for Palestinian statehood has drawn stark rebukes from Israeli officials. Ido Mode, Israel's ambassador to Canada, condemned the move, stating that Israel will not sacrifice our very existence by permitting the imposition of a jihadist state. Israel continues to equate statehood recognition with a reward for Hamas, the militant group that launched a deadly attack in October 2023, killing 1,200 people and taking over 250 hostages. Israel's ambassador to the UN, Danny Damon, called the New York Call hypocritical, accusing the signatories of neglecting the plight of hostages still held in Gaza. These countries choose hollow declarations over meaningful action, he said. Former U.S. President Donald Trump also weighed in, threatening Canada with severe trade repercussions. In a post on Truth Social, Trump said that recognizing Palestine would jeopardize ongoing trade negotiations between the U.S. and Canada. Later, aboard Air Force One, he reiterated his opposition, stating, "You're rewarding Hamas if you do that. I'm not about to do that." The Gaza tragedy and the imperative for peace. Since the outbreak of Israel's military campaign in Gaza in October 2023, launched in response to the Hamas raid, more than 60,000 people have died in Gaza, according to figures from Gaza's Hamas-run health ministry. The humanitarian toll has intensified calls for an immediate ceasefire and a return to negotiations. The New York Call underscores the importance of reunifying the Gaza Strip and West Bank under the Palestinian Authority, while reaffirming a commitment to a two-state solution where Israel and Palestine live side by side in peace and security. A historic crossroads. The upcoming UN General Assembly in September could represent the most significant international push for Palestinian statehood since the Oslo Accords of the 1990s. While recognition alone will not resolve the Palestinian genocide, it may shift the diplomatic calculus, alter negotiations, and empower moderate Palestinian voices advocating for democracy, reform, and peace. What remains to be seen is whether this symbolic recognition will translate into tangible political progress on the ground, or whether it will deepen divisions in an already fragile geopolitical landscape. As the world watches, the question now becomes not just whether Palestine will be recognized, but whether recognition will mark the beginning of peace or the escalation of tensions. For more updates on this developing story, follow our International Affairs section or subscribe to our newsletter.